Good day everyone and welcome to the first part of video discussion of Module 2 topic the Parabolas. So I will divide this into two or three parts because this is a very long topic. So a parabola again is discussed in the first module and it is one of the conic sections. So you have already seen parabolas which opens upward or downward as graphs of quadratic equations. So you are already familiar by this. But here we will see parabolas opening also to left and right. And at the end of this module, I will going to discuss the applications of the parabola. So what are the learning outcomes? So at the end of the lesson, you shall be able to define what a parabola is. Next is to determine the standard form of equation of a parabola. Then graph a parabola in a rectangular coordinate system, and lastly to solve situational problems involving conic sections or particularly the parabolas. So there will be a seat work and assignment by the end of this module, which will I going to assign to you later. So let's start. So first is about the definition and the equation of a parabola. So consider a point F at 0, 2. So ang coordinate daw sa tong F is located at 0 nga x and positive 2 nga y. And the line L having equation y is equal to negative 2 as shown in the figure 2.1. So this is si figure 2.1. So si F daw kay located at 0 nga x, positive 2 nga y. So kani nga point. So this is our F. Next is our line L, which is equal to y equal to negative 2. So this is our origin 0, so negative 1, negative 2. So this is our line L. Then we are asked about the distance from point A, which is 4, 2, from our point F and from our line L. So what is the distance daw gikan sa tong point A, which is located at positive 4 nga x, so 1, 2, 3, 4, then positive 2 nga y. So this is our A. So unsa the distance ni A going to F and the distance of A going to our line L. So this is very simple lang kay since this is a straight line. So sa'yo na kayo ang pag-determine siya ang distance. So we just have to count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So no need to solve. So the distance from A going to point F is 4. And from point A going to point L, so this is the shortest distance from our point A going to our point L. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is also equal to 4. So again, the distance from our point A going to our point F is equal to 4. And the distance from our point A going to our point L is equal to 4. That's why we have AF, so A point A to F is 4. And A to AL, meaning at point ni A at the line L. So that is equal also to 4. So how about the distances of our point B, which is located at negative 8x, ngayon positive 8 nga y, from our F and our line. So negative 8 nga x, so that is located somewhere here. So negative 7, so after niya is negative 8. Next is positive 8 nga y. So for example, this is our B, so dili lang siya makita sa graph. So for example, this is our point B. So what is the distance daw from our B going to our F and from our point B going to our line L? Unsa daw ang distance? So the same lang siya ganiha, no? Ang example lang nato is point A. So karon sa point B, unsa daw yung distance niya? So kani siya, dili siya sayon na pag-solve because dili na siya naka straight line. So nag-involve na siya slope. So to solve the distance from B to F, so remember we are going to use the distance formula. So again, the distance formula, we have x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Then you take the square root of all of that. So again, BF, or that is the distance from point B to F that is equal to the square root of, i-assign lang nato. So for example, our x sub 2 is, this is our x sub 2 sa tong B, then this is our y sub 2 of course. Then our point A, again, si 4, 2, so this is our x sub 1, then this is our y sub 1. So x sub 2, that is negative 8 minus our x sub A, which is, naka-0 lagi. Okay, sorry. 0 din siya. 0, 2. Sa F data, dili data sa A. So distance from B to F. So this is our F, 0, x sub 1, y sub 1. Okay, so that is negative 8 minus 0, x sub 1 squared, plus y sub 2 is equal to 8 minus y sub 1 is equal to 2 squared. So negative 8 minus 0, that is still negative 8. Negative 8 squared is 64, plus 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 plus 6 squared is equal to 36. So 64 plus 36, that is equal to 100. And the square root of 100 is equal to 10. So the same process para sa ato ang distance and finding the distance from our point B going to the distance sa ato ang L. So naa siya dari. So that is equal to 10. So pareha sila no, sa atong gikan sa atong point A padulong sa F na siya 4 nga distance. Gikan sa point A padulong sa atong line na siya 4 Japan nga distance. Then when we try the point B naman going to our F, we have answer nga 10, and from point B going to our line napot answer nga 10, which is equal lang silang duha. So there are other points P such that P going to our F. So P here is any point sa ato ang kaning curve na line. So going the distance from point P going to our F or our focus is equal to the distance from our P going to our line, where our PL or the point of our line is the closest point on our line. So the collection of all such points forms a shape which is called the parabola. So kung kuha kag mga example nga mga points diri, kung imo na siyang i-collectanan, so mahimo na siya parabola nga form, which is kaning ingani. So again, parabola in module 1, that is when the plane intersects only one cone to form an unbounded curve. So let F be the given point and our L a given line which is not containing our F. So natay line, then napod tayo point F. So the set of all points P such that its distance from F and from L are the same. So kung equal siya, for example, dari, magkuha tag point dari. So let's say this is point C. So if yung distance dari padulong sa F and the distance ni point C padulong sa tong line are equal, then pasok siya sa ato ang parabola nga line. And the point F is what we call the focus. So kaning F mo na siya, manang F ang gitawag, so that is the focus. And the line L here, there is sa ubos, kaning line, that is what we call the directrix. Okay, so let's consider a parabola with a focus that is located at 0 and C. So si 0 dari is constant, so ang x na to kay constant, then ato ang C, which is our y, is any value. So for example, dari nga point, so this is F, 0, and C. And our directrix having an equation y is equal to negative C, meaning the value of our C here sa tong focus should be equal to the value of our line here, which is y is equal to negative C. So the focus and directrix are C units above and below, diba? So the distance from here going to our origin, that is distance C. Also from the distance of our line going to there is atong x-axis, that is equal to negative C nga distance. So parehas sila. So we let our point P, which is located at xy, so meaning this x can be any value and our y can also be any value. So, be a point on a parabola. So, kung si P daw kay point siya sa tong parabola, so the condition there is that the distance from our point P going to our F should be equal to the distance from our point P going to our line. Okay? So, ato siyang gi-equate. So, the point P has to be on the same side on the directrix as the focus. So if P was below, it would be closer to our directrix than it is from our F, 'di ba? So dapat kung naa diri sa right side ang ato ang P, so ang ato ang point sa tong line should be nasa yang ubos. So mao ni siya ang closest niya nga point sa L. So pwede man pud ta mag 'di ba mag-draw og line padulong diri, but this line is not the closest line or distance nga atong makuha from our point P going to our line. So ang closest nga distance niya is kana iyahang sa tawagan na kanang perpendicular niya nga line. Okay? So if our point P is located at the left side, so of course, ang ato ang PL should be napod sa left na to ma-locate. Okay? So so again, we equate the distance from our P going P to F and P to the point sa to ang directrix. So what is the distance from our P going to our focus? So point P to focus. So again, that is by using the distance formula. So that is the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So here, ang atong x sub 2 is our x, gikan sa tong point P. Then atong x sub 1 is 0. So that's why we have x squared na lang dari. Plus our y sub 2, that is equal to y, minus our y sub 1. Again, atong y sub 1 is kaning si c. So that's why we have y minus c squared. So i-equate nato siya sa distance sa tong P going to our point sa ato ang directrix. So distance ani niya. So from here, pwede na ta dili magamit og distance formula since straight line raman ni siya. So wala siya slope nga gi-involve. So that is by, so kani siya nga distance, this is our y nga distance, di ba? Since this is the coordinates sa tong y. And kani nga distance, this is the c nato nga distance, di ba? Because y is equal to negative c. So kani nga point, this is negative c nga point. So yan distance here from going to our x-axis is c. Dayon padulong ani nga point is y. So the total distance here kay ato lang i-add. So that is y plus c. Okay? So we have y minus negative c or we have y plus c. So na-equate siya. So next step is we are going to by the way, what I am doing here is I am deriving the standard equation of the parabola. So let's take the squared of the both side of our equation to get rid of this square root nga sign. So ato ning i-square diri sa left side, then ato po ning i-square ang sa right side. So sa left side, ma-cancel si square root. So because the square root of a square root is equal to 1 or kung sa tiyang value. Then next is just copy what is inside. So natay x squared plus, so kani siya gi-expand lang si y minus c to the power of 2. So gi-expand lang ni siya. So unsa gyud pag-expand, you square the first term, so we have y squared. You multiply the first term and the second term, so that is y times negative c is negative cy. Then you multiply it by 2. So constant yun na si 2. So that's why we have negative 2cy. Then lastly is to square the last term. So negative c squared is equal to positive c squared. So gi-expand lang. Then sa left side sa itong equation, so mo ni siyang left side sa itong equation, di ba? This is the same. Y minus negative c is just equal to y plus c. So gi-square po na to ang left side sa itong right side sa itong equation. So pag square ana, ato lang siyang gi-expand po. So the same process, we are going to square the first term, then you multiply the first and second term, then multiply it by 2. That's why we have 2cy then square the last term, which is c squared. After that is ato na dayon siyang combine ang similar terms or ato siyang gi unsa na gi-simplify. So ang kaning y squared ma-cancel out ra ni siya because natay y squared sa tong pika side sa equation. So if you transfer it to the other side sa atong equation, so mulabay siya ning equal sign. So from positive may siyang negative. So y squared minus y squared, so that's equal to 0. So meaning this will be cancelled. And the same with c squared. So kung si c squared ibalin po nato sa pika side sa atong equation, it will become negative c squared. So ma-cancel out po ni sila. So ang mabilin, we have x squared which is equal to kani. So transfer po natin siya sa pika side. So 2cy plus 2cy, that is equal to 4cy. So natay final answer nga x squared is equal to 4cy. So the vertex V is the point midway between the focus and the directrix. So siya daw tong tunga-tunga sa tong focus. Again, our focus kaning nasa point F, and our directrix. Atong directrix is kaning si line nga y is equal to negative c. So si vertex daw malocate siya sa midpoint. So sa tunga-tunga ani niya. So ang distance ani is equal to c, ang distance ani niya also is equal to c. So si vertex di ay located siya dari. So that is the very center of your parabola, or the midpoint of your parabola. Then this equation, x is equal to 4cy, so kato to nakuha ganyan nga equation, is then the standard equation of a parabola opening upward with the vertex located at the origin. So mo siya ang standard equation sa ato ang parabola nga nag-open sa upward. So pataas iyang pag-open. And of course, ang atong parabola kay located sa origin, which is 0, 0. So mo siya ang standard equation. So what if ang atong parabola kay nag-open siya downward? So ma-opposite lang ang ato ang value sa ato ang c dari. So instead of our focus is located at 0c, so na siya dari sa ubos atong focus. Then atong directrix na napud siya sa taas. Then our parabola will be opening downward. So para mas makita ninyo, so this is the parabola opening upward. So we have the standard equation x squared is equal to 4cy, and this is the parabola opening downward. So this is the origin kani where the x and y intersects. So mo ni siya ang ato ang parabola opening downward. So if you're going to solve that, so the same process lang. So kanilang mabali lang ni siya ang distance sa ato ang point P going to our point L. So for example, this is our point P, then padulong sa atong dari point L. So ang distance ana is this is C nga distance, and this one is negative Y nga distance. So ang mahitabo, instead of C plus Y, mahitabo is may mo na siyang C minus Y. Then sa pika side, instead nga Y minus C na siya kani, so may mo na siyang Y plus C. So if you're going to equate both of these, atong makuha nga final answer is equal to x squared minus negative 4cy. So unsa kalainan? If it is opening upward, c4 kay positive, and if it is opening downward, then our 4 will be negative. Okay? So we collect here the features of the graph of parabola with standard equation. X squared minus is equal to 4cy, or x squared is equal to negative 4cy. So positive upward, negative downward. Okay, so what can we draw from this parabola? So first, we have the vertex should be at the origin, or that is at 0, 0 nga coordinate. So if the parabola opens upward, the vertex is the lowest point. So kung pasaka daw ang atong parabola, ang vertex mo na siya ang kinaubsan nga point because it is located at 0, 0, di ba? So kung i-compare nimo dari nga point, so mas taas siya compare aning sa vertex na to. Remember, vertex mo na siya ang middle nga point sa atong parabola. And if the parabola naman is opening downward, so kung paubos na po ang pag-open sa itong parabola, then the vertex is in the highest point naman because kani 0, so kung nasa dari nga point, this is negative, di ba? Negative c nga point. So negative c is less than our 0 nga point. So again, if ang atong parabola kay opening upward, our vertex has the lowest point, and if it is opening downward, the vertex has the highest point. Next is the directrix. So directrix again is the line, kaning broken line, o na siya tong directrix. So the line y is equal to negative c or y is equal to c. So kung negative c, of course, located siya sa negative side sa imuhang y nga axis. If positive c, so napud siya sa taas located. So the directrix is c units below or above the vertex. So again, this is our vertex, so it can be below or above sa tuang vertex. So negative, kay na siya sa ubos, positive na siya sa taas. Number 3 is the focus. So focus at 0, c, and 0, negative c. Kung 0c, so 0c x, and c, so positive man si c, so located siya sa taas. So if negative naman, located si focus sa ubos. So the focus is c units above or below the vertex again. Then any point on the parabola has the same distance from the focus as it has from the directrix. So ang distance daw sa atong focus padulong sa atong vertex, and the distance from our directrix going to our vertex are just equal. Number 4 is the axis of symmetry, which is equal to x is equal to 0, or that is the y-axis. So this line divides the parabola into two parts which are mirror images of each other. So unsa ni mo pag-determine sa axis of symmetry? So symmetry meaning naka-mirror sila, or ang one side is just similar to the other side. So remember, this is our parabola. So unsa man natong axis of symmetry, where we can say that this side is just a copy of the other side. So ang atong axis of symmetry ani, if it is opening upward or downward, then its axis of symmetry is the y-axis. So mo ni siya ang axis of symmetry. So kung imo ni siyang hation kani, this is the y-axis. So the left side of your y is just similar sa ato ang right side sa ato ang parabola. So symmetric ra sila. So pwede man gud pod ang atong axis of symmetry is in x-axis. So that is for the other case nga if ang atong parabola is opening to the right or to the left. So for this example, kani nga parabola, if it is opening downward or upward, ang iyang axis of symmetry is always at the y-axis. So kani pod dere sa downward, so mo ni ang axis of symmetry. Okay, so let's have examples. So for number 1, so we are asked to determine the focus and the directrix of a parabola with the given equation, and we are asked to sketch a graph and indicate where is the focus, the directrix, the vertex, and lastly the axis of symmetry. So for number 1, naatay x squared is equal to 12y. Diba? Remember, we have a standard equation of parabola which is located atong vertex at the origin. So we can say, diba, sa atong standard equation, we have x squared is equal to 4cy. So this is our standard equation for parabola opening upward. So sa downward naman is negative lang siya. So let me write na lang positive or negative. So positive if it is opening upward, then negative if it is opening downward. So for number 1, since it is positive, so we can say that this parabola is opening upward. So paana na siya. iyahang pag-open. So smooth lang na siya dapat ha, dili siya letter V. So mura siya U nga expanded nga U. So for we can say again, 'di ba? Kani siya nga equation is just applicable for equation or parabola that is located at the origin, meaning our vertex is located at 0, 0. So from this, maka-ingon na din ta that the vertex is equal to 0, 0. And the parabola opens upward. Diba? So paglantaw pala nato sa equation, kabalo na ta nga nasa 0 or sa origin ang vertex, then opening upward siya. Then from 4C, diba, natay 4C, dere, 4C. So si 4C, mo din na ato ang 12, diba? So that's why we are going to equate that by 12. Kaya ang tapad ni 4C kay si Y. So tapad ni 12 kay si Y. So gi-equate nato siya, then just divide both side of the equation by 4. So we have our C equal to 12 divided by 4, that is equal to 3. So si C daw is equal to 3. Again, unsa kini si C? C is the distance from your vertex going upward. So that is the distance sa ato ang focus, and if mag-count kag 3 steps padulong sa ubos, then that's the distance sa ato ang directrix or where our directrix is located. So ang ato ang focus, it is located, so for example, we have our vertex. So kung mo-answer ta ni, dapat natin graph. So located na ato ang vertex, so na siya sa origin which is 0, 0. And we already know that our equation is positive, so it is obviously opening upward. So kung asa nag-open ang ato ang parabola, dira pod ma-locate ang ato ang focus. So again, our C is equal to 3, di ba? Atong focus here is equal to 0, C. So just substitute the values atong C. So again, focus kani 0, C. If it is opening upward, kani opening downward. So kani naman, this is opening upward, kani atong gamiton nga equation. And if it is opening downward, kani po equation. That is for the directrix. So first, let us see the focus. So sa focus, so ato lang i-substitute ang value ni C, which is 3. So our focus is located at the coordinate 0 and 3. So 0 si X, si 3 kay, si Y kay 3. So 1, 2, 3. So dari day located ang ato ang focus. So this is F 0, 3. Then this is our vertex 0, 0. So ang gipapangita sa to is the focus, directrix sa parabola. So we are done with the focus. Next is our directrix. So directrix again, if it is opening upward, then the equation will be y is equal to negative c, or that's simply y is equal to negative 3. So that is negative 1, 2, 3. So atong directrix na asya dari nga side. So from here, so lisod po ang atong curve, no, kay dari pa ubos, so magbangga sila sa atong directrix. So atong pagplot sa atong parabola, pasaka jud siya. So iyang gikaon si focus. So focus meaning dito siya naka-focus, dito siya naka-open. So that will be our graph. So kani mas tindot na presentation sa graph. So vertex again at 0, 0, focus at 0, 3, directrix is y is equal to negative 3. Then lastly, our axis of symmetry. So mo ni siya ang atong axis of symmetry, that is the y-axis, or simply x is equal to 0. Okay? You can write as x is equal to 0 or y-axis. So parehas na sa duwa. Okay, for number 2, so number 2 naman is yung kalainan is negative lang ni siyang assign. And iyang 4c kay ma-equate na to siya into 6. So, the same, our vertex is located at 0, 0. Then, the parabola is opening downward because of the negative sign. Then, we equate 4c by 6. So, i-divide lang natin siya 4. I-divide lang po natin siya 4. So, cancel si 4. So, c is equal to 6 over 4, or that is 3 halves. So, meaning, if it is opening downward, so sa pagpangita na to sa tong focus, kaniya tong gamiton. Kaning f0 negative c. So, ang atong value sa tong c is 3 halves. So, our focus is located at 0 and 3, negative 3 halves. Then, sa tong directrix, ato pong gamiton is kaning y is equal to c. So, atong c again is 3 halves. So, our directrix is y is equal to 3 halves. So, motto, focus is 0 and negative 3 halves. Directrix is y equal to 3 halves. Then, the same lang ang ato ang axis of symmetry. So, yung graph, so mo ni 0, vertex nga 0. So, focus 0, then negative 3 halves. Negative 3 halves is equal to negative 1.5. So, we have negative 1.5. So, dari malocate si focus. So, remember, when you sketch the graph, dapat panganlan na to kung unsa na siya nga mga points. So, mo siya na yung nakabutang F, which is the focus, V, the vertex, and kanya tong broken line is the directrix. So, the directrix is y is equal to 3 halves. So, this is 3 halves again is 1.5. So, this is 1, then 0.5. So, this is y is equal to 0.5. Kani nga line. And the parabola is opening downward. So, let's have another example. So, what is the standard equation of the parabola in figure 2.1? So, kaganiha, given tag equation, and we are asked to find the vertex, the focus, and the directrix. So, this time, given ta sa graph, and we are asked to find the standard equation. So, baliktad. So, unsa ganito ang kailangan sa ato ang standard equation? If it is opening upward, so this is a graph that is opening upward. So, ang iyang standard equation is x squared is equal to 4c times y. So, ang atong unknown dere nga value is c lang. And again, c is the distance from our vertex going to our focus, or the distance from our vertex going to our directrix. So, from the graph, so we can easily identify that from our vertex going to our focus, so this is 1, 2. Na ay 2 nga distance, meaning our c is equal to 2. So that is the same if you're going to use the vertex and the directrix. So 0, so 1, 2. So the same lang nga distance nga 2. So we have x squared is equal to 4 times our c, which is equal to 2 times y. So x squared is equal to 8y. So this is our final answer. So mas dali kung given na ang graph. So this is our final answer. So for the part 2 video discussion, I will discuss about the more properties of parabolas.